I'm quite excited about the initiative of Talking Galleries. I think it's an important move to start sharing information, which until recently is always in informal one-on-one structures. And that I think a lot of like different tiers of galleries could come together and kind of share information and experiences over different regional or geographical fields, but also in terms of years of experience. And I think it's interesting to use Talking Galleries also to investigate different generational approaches, as we talked about today, of several opportunities for collaboration. And I think that actually amongst a younger group of galleries looking towards these like collaborative moments is much more present, but still very young and underdeveloped. So I think Talking Galleries can definitely help in catalyzing and being a catalyst for that.
I think, of course, I judge it from like the perspective of somebody who doesn't run a gallery, but I think it's essential that what you see is that the whole, let's say, curatorial and non-profit world has an enormous amount of discursivity. Like there's a kind of meta level of discourse about what is an institution, what is a museum, what is a non-profit space, that's constantly discussed on both a kind of practical and abstract level. And I think it's very rewarding for galleries to have the same system of a sort of meta discourse, that your practice is discussed also on an abstract level and in communality with other gallerists, so that you actually you have a community of gallerists, but that Talking Galleries can add a new component to that of discourse, debate, analysis, criticality, but also maybe of like very practical solidarity. How can we learn little things from each other, or bigger things that ameliorate our day-to-day practice? So I think it adds both this more long-term, discursive, analytical value, but also a practical value of getting together, exchanging information that you don't do at a fair, or you don't do when you by chance meet each other in a bar.
While during the meeting, I was pretty happy to be there, and I mean, I got lots of input. But later, during the whole year, it was even better, because I adjust my thoughts on certain daily questions that you have, daily problems. So I would recall things that I heard, and some ideas that they discussed there, and it helped.
I strongly believe in the concept of a resistance ecosystem that needs to be created. Every participant to that field have got to work together, whether they are galleries, whether they're artists, whether they're collectors, or whether they're institutions. That cooperation will be probably the key of developing a future for that resistance ecosystem.
But I do believe in this process that the galleries are getting together to define their own role and to possibly redefine the role. And I think that it would be a very good idea if the galleries themselves could establish some kind of ethical rules, and also to emancipate the gallery as an institution on the same level as exhibition center, Kunsthalle, museum, which it actually is, if it's been run in the right manner.
For me, it's very important in the gallery sector, the transparency, to have new ideas regarding contracts and the relationship among the different agents in the market. Well, that's why Talking Galleries is interesting to me. I think think it's very important the professionalization of all the sector, not only the galleries, but also the collectors and the public institutions and the private foundations that deal with art. And it's very important the networking among all the agents and to arrive to this transparency and to the commitment among everybody.
One of the key developments that the Talking Galleries will have to develop will be the professionalization of the profession, definitely, of being a gallerist. We need to look at opening up to new ideas, new concepts that are maybe coming from other industries, because I think the main thing to understand is that now the arts world is now an industry, and it's important to understand that today.
Well, I'm thinking of it as that the work of the galleries has to be valued for what it is, and you have to understand, of course, the process from the artist studio to the collection, may it be a museum collection or a private so-called distribution process, which is more because it includes adding a very important element usually to the artist's activity, namely the exhibition, which in itself is an artwork, or could be, or should be.
I don't experience a lot of galleries as unprofessional. Or maybe yes, a number of the smaller ones where you think like I would do better. And I don't know if a conference is a good forum for that. But maybe if Talking Galleries also becomes a think tank that actually operates on a year-long basis and organizes little meetings, expert meetings or workshops or master classes throughout the year, I think yes. I think just one conference a year cannot do that. But if you have a kind of continuous practice, I think definitely. Because it's, I mean, from the outside perspective, it's clear that the gallery associations that exist nowadays don't do that. If I just talk about my own context, the Netherlands, you have the NGA, National Gallery Association. A lot of interesting galleries are not part of that because they think that already the organization is amateurish. So I think that if you have an international organization that really starts from the practice of interesting galleries, from best practices, that can happen.
Also on like the initiatives and the willingness of the galleries to collaborate and share and be candid and open-heartedly, as my experiences until now with the gallerist program. I've been extraordinarily pleasantly surprised by our participating contributors and speakers, gallerists, but also people coming from more academia or economics to actually share information which until recently wasn't that much positioned, and I think Talking Galleries can be one of the players in that field.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more philosophical concerns, I mean, ideas to go in terms of ideas, because if we're going to discuss about laws, about fairs, I mean more practical, very interesting, you use it, but when you come from far, I think it's important to understand how the other one thinks, what he thinks about it, what makes our profession keep on going, and I think some philosophical point of view, the exchange of more abstract, more ideas would be very important too, not just the pragmatical daily life in our profession, not just that, it's linked to economics or to laws or to, but more what we're really willing to, what's our place in the system, how can we go further with this, what's going to be our place in the system in a little while. And all about thoughts, of course, all about thoughts.
The benefit Talking Galleries has is that it posits a stage or a platform for changing commitment, different people who are involved or who might be attracted to a specific topic or a specific theme. I think talking galleries can really, in the future, if it also like tries to thematize its gatherings, have a very focused and perhaps like an in-depth, but and with a much larger group, whereas the galleries program as an initiative of the Apple and the Fair Gallery develops over time, has a more generalistic approach to allow all different kind of angles and spectrum. But I am hoping, which is a one logistic issue, but I think the Talking Galleries platform would preferably be a returning part of our curriculum, and vice versa. What we can offer to Talking Galleries is share the expertise and the conversations which come up during the run of our course years.
So I think it's an opportune time to think about the profession of being a gallerist today in a very changing world, and I think it's very important mark that the galleries are opening the field to outside participants like collectors to the thinking about the future of being a gallerist today. So good luck to Talking Galleries.
You have like this forum of different people from different cultures that they have the same problems as you do, and the problems they come on the table, and you start discussing it. First, they are not your problems anymore, but they are everybody's problem. So you have a different point of view and a different approach. I think that's very important. Because you start seeing from far, it's not inside of you.
I think the role of the gallery will remain the agent of the artist, the organizer of the world outside of the studio, and the main role is to give the artist opportunity, financial backing to make the work where the artist is at his or her best.
The only thing I can do is to talk about my reality and how we manage to live it, and to think about it. We have a history on doing with very little. That's we didn't have for a long time. We had a society very with lack of many things, and so not that we learn, we developed a way of doing with very little. But I don't think this knowledge could fit here.